Chapter 7, Energetic Existence, Part 1. You are already living an energetic existence. To what extent you are aware of it is an issue that you must deal with. Those who do not acknowledge that they are the energy of the universe aware of itself often find themselves victims of it and to it. I do not live an ideal energetic existence as well as I could. I am a hypocrite. Better that way. To always desire to do better and to know that you will never achieve your ideal is much better than not trying at all and allowing the universe and its inhabitants, people, to have their way with you. It is very easy to flail toward your own demise and thus the demise of others, but to act with what you know seems to be very difficult for us. I am aware, like most, of what is better for myself than many of the things that I do or that my life's course would indicate or reflect. I know what would be better for everyone who is alive, and so do you. But that is not what we see or do, is it? Maybe most of us are not aware of this, or we would see something different. You cannot fail to live an energetic existence. The tenets of energeticism are not based on ethics and morals, ways to behave and live, what is right and wrong, good and bad, and are based on all that we see in this universe every day. There are enough ethics and morals for us to understand, written and communicated between us and in books that we may find all over the earth. The tenets of energeticism do not dictate how to live your life. Energeticism tells you that you tell you how to live your life. If you would like to surrender the control of your life to other people or to the thoughts in your head, that is a choice you may make or someone or something else may make for you. There are only two tenets that come close to outlining any approximation of moral values for the human race. The first is the tenet that states that the human race has the ability to achieve peace and harmony on earth. It does not say that we should or that we will. It only states that we have the ability to achieve peace and harmony on earth. The other tenet that may seem like it has moral value is that the human race moves toward unity. This is an observance of all that has occurred in the past. Humans were disconnected from each other and unaware of the planet when we began, and now we know this planet has 7 billion inhabitants. Today, we may go and encounter any of those inhabitants at any time. We have cell phones and satellites. The only thing that will stop us from continuing to come together and becoming more aware of each other is our own demise brought on by whatever we see or do not see coming, whenever. Energeticism does not tell you directly what is good and what is not. Energeticism gives you facts about the universe and where we live that imply for you what the correct course of action would be for an energetic being on a planet surrounded by others and nothing. Humans have always done whatever they want to do. Energeticism asks that people reevaluate what they want to do, since what people have wanted to do throughout our history and continue to do to one another has been very upsetting. Through the years, as these ideas were coalescing in my mind, I would often think of a particular example in order to understand how good ethics and morals could be derived from energeticism and then conveyed to people using this system. Realizing that we are a lot of atoms aware of themselves, I would ask myself, what would two atoms in space do to each other if they suddenly became aware of each other and their situation as we have? I thought for a year or two that they would be polite and say hi. I certainly did not think that they would do harm to each other, given that they were surrounded by nothing and probably hadn't seen any other atoms for quite some time. I later realized that those atoms will do whatever those atoms do, as I further realized that we were atoms in space, suddenly aware of each other, and the things that we do are obvious without having to consult my two imaginary atoms in space. Atoms in space will, apparently, kill another atom for the other's space and resources, or for the fact that the other atom is different in some way. the configuration of the other atom may be attractive or distractive to the perceiving atom. I still use this example, but the outcome is not always that pretty. But it is more real. We are in space right now. We always just became aware because now is the only moment that we can be aware in and of. So, what do we do when we encounter other atomic organizations? I thought that two atoms in the middle of nowhere would be relieved to encounter one another in space and would not kill each other, because then the killing atom would be in its original position of being alone. I realized that I had assigned emotions to the atoms, which many men often lack even general identification with, and is subject to change. I had assigned as many human characteristics to them as possible and realized that some humans would rather be alone in an infinite universe with no purpose. That person may come to understand that they are surrounded by 7 billion people who are also alone in an infinite universe with no purpose except to make up purposes. I then gave the atoms awareness of all that I have presented here, and now they often chat over tea and crumpets and gaze at nearby galaxies, wishing they could get propelled there somehow because they are objects at rest. Atoms will do whatever the heck they want to do. There is not much to energeticism. In the infinite past, we were not aware. During our lifetime, we are. For an infinite future, we are not. This is what we are able to see and understand of the universe. I say this instead of saying that it reveals and presents itself to us, because that implies that it intends to do so, which is admittedly the way it often seems. We see the universe and intend to see it connected to perfection, which it is and must be. This is when it is nice to remember the entire universe changes at the same moment. We are the universe aware of itself, learning itself. Energeticism is basic and undeniable. Anyone has the ability to do whatever they want, whenever they want. As an energeticist looks around, they see and sense energetic patterns in the forms of structures, beings, people, and other organisms, and actions, events, and occurrences. Moments are always small and fleeting. All things are as they are and can be no other way. The drama of the planet is the result of many causes and effects and is completely unnecessary except as entertainment in light of the fact that the future of the human race is uncertain. At the moment, an energeticist is at home in the middle of nowhere, no matter where they are on the planet or in space. For a long period of time in my life, I called my skin my home and was thus comfortable in most circumstances. I now know my home to be much smaller in size and much more powerful than my skin, which is there in partial protection of my home, which is the same purpose served by my body and brain, to protect me and acquire all that I need to sustain my awareness and its acuity. There are universal signs everywhere, and you see and experience them because you are the universe aware of itself and what it wants. As much as we would love to believe that things occur because something else favors or disfavors us, it is only us who favors or disfavors us, so we seek out signs that support what we want. Those signs are everywhere and occur in the oddest of ways to force even me to second guess whether the universe has obvious intentions. Then I remember that I am the universe with these intentions. When I say that the universe is telling you something, I mean that your brain is putting together patterns that you may or may not be aware of, or that the brains of other people are expelling patterns that your brain has the ability to perceive and assign meaning to. There are many energetic representations that support what we want to do. We take these as signs. Trust me, the universe has driven me in such a way that it seems very strange that it was not planned. I realized that I followed my senses. The universe, you, told me that things are very wrong on this planet and that I should go to school and live and work with everyone to figure it out. Through the years, many people have been unusually supportive, and many other things have occurred that, at first, seemed way too coincidental to be mere coincidence. Now I find that at least 1 billion other people are thinking and doing many of the same things that I am doing because the people of this planet are forcing realization upon themselves. That is 14% of the Earth's population. No wonder it seems like the universe is screaming at me. Because you are. You are the signs, and you are the interpreters of signs. Communicating with the universe is communicating with yourself and all that is around you. Although it does not have awareness, sometimes it seems that way to us. That is because we are it. Everything we need to know, the universe tells us all the time, especially since we are it. We do not listen or sense it too often, especially men, subject to change. World peace? Pretty simple, huh? Being that we are the universe aware of itself, the universe, we, tends to tell itself, us, a lot of false ideas as well, like give up on your dreams, or tolerate ignorance and stupidity because stupidity and ignorance teach tolerance of themselves. The universe tells us exactly what we ask of it when we ask the right questions in the right ways. For instance, we wanted to know how long we have been here. The universe said that there are old bones in the dirt and there are all kinds of fun patterns that will indicate your origins. The universe also included that our current belief systems will not take too kindly to this new information and will refute and ignore the fact that many antitheses are steadily poised to combat long-standing ancient theses rooted in fallacies, falsehoods, or illogical statements and premises. Theses that were based on false premises because we didn't know any better in the past, as history will show. Stay in school. It will bring you up to date. On a more personal level, for those of you who really have a hard time with the information that the universe imparts upon you, the universe may tell you to do some atrocious thing, and hopefully you recognize it to be atrocious. It also tells you to question this thing. Giving in to the universe, being frustrated with itself, is a choice that you may or may not make. If you do not make that choice, the thoughts that you harbor will make that choice for you. Again, none of this is good or bad without your perception of it. The universe does not always tell you what is best for everyone on the planet. It mostly tells you what is good for you in your sphere of existence. I will admit that it seems easier these days for people to not make a choice and go with what the brain says. Historically, the brain has been very selfish, and we cannot blame it. It does not know any better until we tell it. Look, brain, people have a delicate past that they are mostly not aware of on a day-to-day basis. They do not know that they are loving you. Why don't you work on some understandable way of telling them this tonight while we sleep, okay? The universe, your brain, has a lot of contradictory information for you to sort through. You will find that almost all of it was created by us, so take your time. There is nothing wrong with brainwashing as long as you are the one washing it or allow someone you trust with your life to help you, like a therapist, uncle, mother, or friend. You should be able to trust this person with the lives of the human race as well, if you wish to think of it that way. When you ask something of the universe, whether it be of another person or of yourself, you are pleading with yourself that you will notice and or cause the changes necessary to see some kind of result. Please know that this is effective. There are many studies on the power of belief. I think you will find more power in knowing that it has always been you. You have more power than you realize to change the way the universe moves inside and outside your body. But you obviously cannot trust the universe to do anything for you except all the things that it obviously does every day, like keep you on the ground. You are the universe doing things to itself. You have always been praying to yourself, others, and inanimate objects. And I'm not asking you to stop, but to realize that if you are more focused on what you are doing, you may make a greater change than you originally thought possible. Energeticism seeks to answer the questions in ways that they have never been answered by the human race collectively, simply. You cannot do much wrong when answering the questions with the tenets of energeticism. If they are as I perceive them to be, then the answers to the questions will eventually become more common in everyday parlance, conversations, and more prevalent in the minds of humanity. In fact, I often find that the information within energeticism is already common knowledge and that we keep it down for those who still believe in Santa. Shh. The kids who still believe might hear. It still amazes me that these ideas contradict so much of what we hold dear. People currently act like they don't know what is contained in these pages, but have always behaved as if they understand energeticism completely and simply choose to try to obtain all the energy that they could, no matter what the cost was to everyone around them. It seems this way because energeticism points out what is and not what might be. There is a lot less of what is than there is of what might be. It is time to be unusually aware of everything around us. You do not need to be a Zen master to feel enough of the energetic patterns around you to ensure that you and others that you are aware of remain in a favorable energetic position. I sincerely believe that you will find more power and responsibility in being the universe aware of itself. You need do nothing new, but realize that you are always doing something because of some reason inside you that you may or may not understand. I am kidding. I just thought that last line sounded cool. Really. You do not need to do anything in order to be an energeticist or to live an energetic existence. That is how basic energeticism is. Energeticism is not about believing something new. It is a reorganization of many things that we already know and can find everywhere we look. To be a strong energeticist, one merely is never distracted by false perceptions that it encounters. This can be frustrating sometimes, though, when everyone around you is distracted by points of hysterics and delirium with false perceptions. Wow. We are now its, as we have always wanted to be, because we are awarenesses before we are men or women, he's or she's. Think about it. We say, it's my dog. It pooped on the rug again. It doesn't sound so strange at first, but how about, it's my wife. It wants more money. It is a dog. It is a man. I know it sounds strange and almost diminutive and derogatory, like a put down, but I am an awareness before I am a man. You may refer to me as an it. If I talk about my awareness, I am inevitably speaking in the third person. My awareness knows it is feisty. Matthew, he is a good man. Considering how we define this label, Matthew, it is a good man. Considering how we define this label. What a strange word, it. That is how strong our labels are. With those labels in place, we encounter incredible difficulty identifying what we really are. We are not even this brain, nor this body, I assure you. We are what it does. We are a product of what it does. We are a result of our brain, the universe, moving. We are what happens between atoms. Many people study exactly where the awareness is located in the brain, and it usually depends on what you are thinking about consciously. See cognitive neuroscience, a branch of psychology. This is the only way we will ever find eternal life. And I know you love that idea, while the point remains that we are its first. You are offended because these things break so many beliefs that you hold. while you have never known any other way to think about yourself. Believe me, there are an infinite number of ways to think about yourself. However, you must know that only one of those ways is accurate and real. You are real. What you believe about yourself can only be an approximation of what or who you are. It is accurate and real to say that you do not know or understand yourself fully, much as you would love to believe that you do know yourself fully and that you understand yourself. To understand yourself fully is to understand the entire universe at every moment, and that is an ability that we do not possess. We may want to believe that we can know the universe completely, but then you must stop and listen to yourself. We want to believe that we have the knowledge of every atom and every particle in the universe at any given moment, while we don't even understand what we created as love or law. See Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Energeticism is a grounding belief. That is why I address this as a foundation of belief. However we want to imagine this life, based upon these new but old premises, tenets in their arrangement, is up to us, but our awareness of the tenets should be able to help us answer further questions and remind us to go do some research if we care so much about anything. As I have stated, in energeticism, there is less to be known than there is that might be known. That is why my system, beautiful as it is here, is surrounded by emotionally persuasive rhetoric that is intended to bring to the surface many of the thoughts, beliefs, and issues that it targets to resolve. Stated another way, in believing less, one must often lose more, especially in this era. If I thought I could give you 2 pages and be done, that is exactly what I would have done. Instead, I wish these patterns to grab your attention. I wish to explain this more simply. Right now, you have thousands of ideas and beliefs regarding this moment in which we find ourselves. Very few of those thoughts and beliefs have anything to do with what is actually occurring right now. Similarly, very few of the ideas in your brain are accurate representations of the universe. Most of the thoughts are of the past moments that we, many times, somehow feel like we missed, and we miss them during other moments that we are also missing by missing moments past during the moment. Other thoughts might be of what you intend to do in the future. You get the point. At the foundation of the world's beliefs are thousands of machinations, ideas on what is and is not, what is right or wrong, beliefs that people fight for and over. Many of these energetic patterns are not accurate representations of the reality in which we find ourselves. We question these things and debate about them, and have done so to exhaustion over the last 20 or so thousand years. I am here to say that there should be no question about our foundational beliefs and that we are far from completing these debates. If they are so great, they should be common knowledge. Some of it is common knowledge, but we do not debate and often do not really understand the origin of, nor do we understand why we do not debate about it. And all of this common knowledge that we do not debate, but rather take for granted and ignore, is right here. When you look at, feel, and experience this world and your existence through these things that we do not debate, as I have tried my best to outline for you, your perception becomes clearer. When you see thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and all energetic patterns, their origins become clearer. So, I mean to say that there is a lot more that one may lose by believing in energeticism, and a lot more to be gained, or else I would not even offer this to you. Many of the things that I state here are in consideration of the apparent mindset of the human race in our current era. If I'm off base with you, then you are either very, very lost, or you know these things already and you are well on your way to self-actualization. See Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Only the tenets are meant to be timeless for humanity, but I did something very interesting to create the following section. I asked myself, what would happen to the human race if they decided that energeticism would be a nice addition to their current repertoire of beliefs and thoughts? So I made a seemingly random list of what energetic existence might be like and what it would mean for and to a person who lives on a planet on or around the era including the year 2008, ACE, after Common Era. To my amazement, I was able to sort every statement into every single one of the tenets except for one that I coincidentally had not written any directive or realization. 4. Life feeds on life and non-life. Did not seem to carry with it any great sense of realization at the time that I made the list originally. I suppose this tenet was targeted at the vegetarian debates, or perhaps there is further explanation back in the brief explanation of the tenet. I am for humane treatment of living things that we must take life from. There is no need to fornicate with and abuse livestock. Therefore, I added a directive much later, after watching a horrifying documentary on how we treat what we eat. Don't play with your food. Anyway, I randomly wrote these statements to start, then sorted them into the tenets and took them back out so that they would be organized according to the order of the tenets, for you. Some of these realizations went into more than one tenet. I numbered them in corresponding order to the tenets so that you can easily see how these simple bits of knowledge can transcend into other areas of your brain and change how you perceive other thoughts, beliefs, and ideas. All energetic patterns that you are aware of and harbor are physical events. I am not used to this type of organization, but I acknowledge that it is easier for others to understand when information is in an easily recognizable format that is mnemonically friendly and full of memory aids and connections that strengthen each other in your mind by their very existence. All this information usually just roams around in my head and pops up when I need it or when I or you call upon it. Organizing it for you and writing it has been my pleasure and has reinforced and strengthened my own sense of awareness. Sometimes I get caught off guard, like when someone asks me what I believe. I usually end up stating part of an explanation of a tenet, and this was before they were tenets. In these cases, I have wanted so badly to go full hog and let them know exactly what I have come up with that you have had the pleasure of seeing here. But I stopped myself for 2 reasons. The main reason is that I do not want someone else to take all that I have worked on and for through the energetic transmission of ideas. You ever notice when you have a great idea and it pops up somewhere before you get to do anything about it? That is my main reason for not saying anything about this until this point. The other reason is that I knew that I was not ready to tell another human on the spot what I have to tell them without potential for hurting them mentally and getting hurt mentally or physically myself by doing so. Moreover, I knew that sooner or later I would be informing the entire human race as best I could someday. However, I have not been completely quiet, as few know. So, here they are. Here are some of the things that may occur to you once you look up from this book after having absorbed the tenets. Peace be with you. Remember, I am the universe talking to you, and you are currently talking to yourself as the universe. Random realizations. This is a list of random realizations, and they are numbered 1 through 28. After each number comes whatever random realizations I put in with that particular tenet. In case you are not looking at the book, that's how this format's going to go for part of this chapter. 1, from tenet 1, being in tune with all that surrounds you becomes more understandable. From tenet 2, you become more aware of the energetic patterns that emanate from your brain and body. Tenet 3, you feel everything first as energetic pattern. You understand everything first as energetic pattern. You understand the basic history of this planet when you absorb a person, organism, or thing. You become aware of energetic patterns that go into your body and brain and the processes within you and others that deal with them. Your body becomes a tool. Those were all from tenet 3. From tenet 4, your perception of time changes. Tenet 5, your perception of times change. Tenet 6, your perception of time changes. Tenet 7, you are perception of time changes. Tenet 8, your perception of space becomes more clear and intriguing. You find comfort amongst chaos when lost and alone. From tenet 9, you realize that you are everything and become anything aware of itself. All forms of currency and barter, trading materials, become energetic organizations of matter that have an energetic meaning that we all agree upon. Money is energy. What is done with it is energetic intention. From tenet 10, you predict many things. The weather becomes less of a problem and more admired. From tenet 11, you become aware of yourself as an animal, an organism, an energetic existence in this universe, and this changes how you see, perceive, and understand the existence of other energetic organisms that you find yourself surrounded by. From tenet 12, you no longer see people and animals, you feel them. From tenet 13, how you spend your time becomes much more important because you have so little. From tenet 14, your fears become energetic patterns in your head that you may deal with at some point. Our perception of death does not get better. Things that we cannot change become vivid realities that we may eventually laugh about together, all of us. Also coincidentally stated by Ernst Mach, like the weather and death, we can affect both. From tenet 15, you find comfort amongst chaos, and when lost, energetic existence is being aware of everything around you as much as possible and enjoying this awareness of your surroundings. Your surroundings are inside your cranium. You experience all that you see and feel inside that skull. When you think you are escaping being aware of something, you may be doing just that, but you are inevitably becoming aware of something else. Sleep and unconsciousness lack quite a bit of our awareness, and we can play with this as well. What happens while we sleep is very fascinating. This is when your brain really takes over. Go do some research. I am sure that you would like to know what it is doing while you are not watching. Naughty, naughty little brain it is. From tenet 16, People become energetic entities with intentions. Your dreams remain dreams. You realize your organization and that it is yours. You spend your time however you want given your current position, which is always subject to change by your will and or the will of all that surrounds you. Your life becomes yours, especially for those who really thought that something or someone else could take responsibility for your life other than you. Identifying the intentions of an organism becomes easier with a better understanding of what that organism is. From Tenet 17, you understand people much better, which is vital to our cooperative existence if there is to be one. Everything becomes more beautiful, and the pain of our people becomes a greater responsibility for all of us to bear. Racism becomes energetic discrimination. Yes, entire cultures believe completely false realities. Energetic discrimination is not cruel and looks at who is suffering and why. Ideas can be immoral, false, flawed, stupid, ignorant, invalid, unethical, and or fallacious. Energeticism fosters the understanding that humans are not responsible for being here and that they may take responsibility if they so choose. A human may do whatever it wants to itself and the rest of the universe, and the universe outside and inside this human may do whatever it wills to do to the human in response to the actions done by the human. That is law. From Tenet 18, caring becomes a conscious decision and becomes second nature. Your hopes become goals. Maintaining this universe becomes much more important to us. From Tenet 19, you understand that everything can be understood. I'm going to mention very quickly here that this month is November in 2008 when I'm doing this audiobook, and a particular quote is the quote of the month from Mr. Albert Einstein on the Albert Einstein calendar that I have on my wall. It reflects that last statement that I just made. He says, and I quote, "The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible." To continue on, the rest of the statements derived from Tenet 19 are falling under that category, beginning now. Everything becomes organizations of energetic patterns and thus can be understood in their entirety by you. You are ready and prepare for anything as much as necessary because you cannot know everything. Everyone's problems become solvable. Everyone's problems become ours. What other people are thinking and why they are thinking these things becomes clearer given our history as humans on this planet. Events that occur become more understandable. Ghosts become more interesting. Not goats. Okay, them too. From Tenet 20. Books become collections of energetic patterns created by humans alone. You may choose to absorb the patterns within them, or you may feel that someone is attempting to force you to absorb those patterns. If you are in school and thinking, yeah, that's what my teacher does, remember, if you cannot understand these patterns that are coming from your professor, then you may leave and learn nothing of what they may have to convey to you. In other words, you choose to be there unless you are under serious oppression where your life and limbs are in jeopardy. You have the capacity to absorb thousands upon thousands of books that open up entire worlds for your mind to explore. The internet is good too. Humans are all that appear to have been on this planet. We wrote a lot of books for many different reasons. The people behind the books have always had many different intentions. If you were not aware of this, then you may have found yourself the victim of some of the patterns that you may have encountered in books or other places. Those who do not acknowledge that they are affected by energetic patterns that surround them usually find themselves the victims of the energetic patterns that they do not understand, and thus attribute their existential predicament to some other energetic organization of patterns that someone or group of people conjured up at some point in time. School becomes simple at every level. Cognition becomes a pastime. See Our Position, the chapter. From Tenet 21, we have the value that you assign to each life on this planet changes. From Tenet 22, in that humanity must destroy and consume other energetic beings considered alive and aware, our respect and reverence for these beings becomes deeper and rich with empathy. And that concludes part 1 of chapter 7, Energetic Existence. We now move on to part 2.